Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you probably know by now, Monday means it's Modern Monday here in Instant Deck Tech Land, and we have a super unique, very different take on Tron to check out today. This is Mono White Tron, which is looking to take advantage of one of the recent rules changes involving planeswalkers. Comes to us from D Shitty, who took it to a top 4 finish at a recent Magic League event, so congrats to D Shitty on a super cool deck. A quick reminder before we break down Mono White Tron for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Mono White Tron, like most Tron decks, is kind of focused on the Tron lands. Basically, if we can get an Urza's Power Plant, an Urza's Mind, and an Urza's Tower on the battlefield all at once, we have 3 lands that tap for 7 generic mana, all by themselves, which means we can start casting some really huge things really quickly, way faster than we should be able to. However, we are not as all in on Tron as some decks. We're not playing Chromatic Spears and Chromatic Stars. Apart from just naturally lucking into Tron, our only real way of assembling Tron is Expedition Map, which can tutor up whatever Tron piece we have to be missing. So while we like Tron, and we really want Tron so we can cast some really big stuff really early in the game, we're not 100% reliant on Tron, because we actually have some other ramp sources. So for ramping, outside of just assembling Tron, we have 4 Talisman of Unity and 4 Solemn Simulacrum. So these cards do 2 things. First, they let us play like a real Magic deck when we don't have Tron. We can just Talisman turn 2, Solemn turn 3, start casting like 5 drops on turn 4. That's still a pretty powerful curve, even when we don't have Tron, and it lets us function when we don't have the crazy 7 mana from 3 lands thing going on. It also gives us white mana, so unlike some Tron decks, like Eldrazi Tron, we actually have a lot of colored cards in our deck, which means we need white mana, and Talisman and Solemn both help us do that. Solemn, also a good chump blocker, just puts up a bit of a roadblock, keeps our opponent from killing us while we're getting to our super strong, powerful late game. The focal point of the deck is Thalia's Lancers. This is a card that kind of holds everything together, and we're almost like this weird toolboxy version of Tron, where we're using Thalia Lancers as not only a fairly decent creature on its own, but as a way to pull whatever legendary we want out of our deck whenever we need it. So the cool thing about Thalia's Lancers now, thanks to the planeswalker errata, not only can we search out legendary lands, not only can we search out legendary creatures, we can grab any of our planeswalkers as well. So probably the biggest hitters we can find with Thalia are the planeswalkers. We got 4 Karn Liberated, kind of a Tron staple, just happens to line up really well with Tron lands since they make 7 mana, Karn costs 7. So the cool thing about this deck is we still have the Tron nut draw, where we can just get lucky, have all of our Tron pieces in hand, go Tron piece, Tron piece, Tron piece, turn 3 Karn you. Really hard to lose when that happens, because Karn is an insanely powerful Magic card. We can also tutor up a 1 of Ugin the Spirit Dragon, which can wrath away the board, can deal some damage to our opponent's face and close out the game, or an Elspeth Sun's Champion, which is great when you're behind since it makes so many chump blockers, good way to stabilize the board, kill big things, and eventually take over the game with the ultimate. So these are kind of our first targets for Thalia's Lancers in a lot of situations, our most powerful things. We also have some good creatures we can tutor up that happen to be legendary. We have 1 Elesh Norn Grand Cenobite, great against go wide decks. If our opponent's playing elves or tokens or anything like that, Elesh Norn can just lock those decks out of the game all by itself, and then Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger gets rid of any 2 annoying things and gives us our fastest way to close out the game. Only a couple of attacks should be enough to eat away our opponent's library, kill our opponent with the huge Eldrazi. We can even tutor up a couple of lands with Thalia's Lancers, and this is nice because it helps us function on our games when we don't have Tron. So if we don't happen to have Tron, we can just play our 2 mana rep, play our Solemn Simulacrum, play our Thalia's Lancers, tutor up in a Jano's Castle, a Gaia Reach Sanitarium, make sure we're hitting our land drop, and that by itself gives us enough mana where we're going to be casting Elspeth. The turn after that, we can start casting Karn, so we can still cast our big stuff even if we don't happen to draw draw Tron lands. Obviously, it's great when we do draw our Tron lands, and those are our most explosive draws, but we still have a realistic pathway to winning the game, even if we don't assemble Tron. Walking Ballista kind of leads us into our removal package. It kind of walks the line. It can be kind of a weird finisher. If we have enough mana, thanks to Tron, it can be like a 5/5 that deals 5 damage to our opponent. Also can come down early in the game, ping something, get rid of a Goblin Guide, a Grim Lavamancer, some aggressive creature from our opponent, shoot down a Delver of Secrets. We have some real removal too, though. Path to Exile, one of the biggest reasons to be white, just gets rid of anything for a single mana, and then some sweepers with Wrath of God and Oblivion Stone. As far as the mana base, we talked about the Tron lands, key part of the deck. We talked about the legendary tutor target lands. We also have a bunch of planes in a single Ghost Quarter. In the sideboard, we get some more sweet tutor targets. Linvala, Keeper of Silence, and Linvala the Preserver. Good in different matchups, but they're legendary, so we can find them with our Thalia's Lancers. Keeper of Silence mostly comes in against decks like Elves, the Vizier Druid combo, where opponents really relying on activated abilities. Linvala the Preserver, on the other hand, is mostly for aggro. Gains us some life, makes a couple blockers, so if we're worried about dying to lightning bolts to the face and so forth, Linvala comes in those matchups. Tamiyo's Journal gives us a bit of card advantage and tutoring power in more controlling matchups. It's a little bit slow, but we make a ton of mana, and if we ever get to the point where we're actually tutoring up Karns and Ulamogs, probably just winning the game. Late Line of Sanctities for combo matchups also prevents heavy discard decks from tearing all of our important pieces out of our hand. Wormcoil for aggro, very hard for a deck like Burn to actually beat a Wormcoil engine. Wrath of God for go-wide creature decks. One Stony Silence, we don't rely that much on artifacts, so it's kind of just a hedge to fight against Affinity. Rest in Peace for graveyard decks, and then Crucible of Worlds lets us get our Tron pieces back from the graveyard. If our opponent's playing like Death and Taxes, lots of Ghost Quarters and Tech Edges, we just keep playing our lands from our graveyard, helps us assemble Tron eventually, and that is Mono White Tron for Modern. And that's our instant deck tech for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.